This diary of the voyage of the Jaladuta is a personal account of the challenging journey that launched Srila Prabhupada's life mission. It reveals the full measure of Srila Prabhupada's devotion, faith and self-sacrifice, which qualify him as one of the world's few genuine spiritual leaders. We hope this presentation will inspire others to appreciate Srila Prabhupada's triumph over adversity and to follow in his lotus footsteps. Srila Prabhupada was instructed by his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddanta Saraswati Thakur, to preach Krishna consciousness to the English-speaking peoples of the world. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami published the first Back to Godhead magazine in 1944. He also began to write translations and commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita and other Vedic literatures. Srila Prabhupada struggled for many years in India, trying to fulfill the instructions of his spiritual master, but he found little encouragement. Finally, in 1965, after publishing 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam, he approached the owner of the Scindia Steamship Navigation Company, Sumati Moraji, for a complimentary passage to the United States of America. After considering his request for some time, she finally agreed and issued him the ticket. In the port of Calcutta, on August 13, 1965, carrying only a few possessions, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami climbed up the steep gangway onto the cargo ship named the Jaladuta, the name which aptly means the messenger of the water. The ensuing journey presented considerable hardship, as we will glimpse from some of the entries Srila Prabhupada made in his diary. The Jaladuta, under the command of Captain Arun Pandya, left at 9 a.m. on Friday, August the 13th. In his diary, Srila Prabhupada wrote, "The cabin is quite comfortable. Thanks to Lord Sri Krishna for enlightening Sumati Moraji for all these arrangements. I am quite comfortable." August the 14th, he wrote, "The ship started majestically at about 11 o'clock in the morning, but on reaching the Bay of Bengal, there is tilting of the ship and a little rolling also. The roughness increased gradually on the upper Bay of Bengal, and I felt seasickness, dizziness, vomiting, and no appetite." 16th August. The siren sounded on account of hazy vision to warn other ships coming from the opposite direction. At about 12 noon it is raining heavily, and the ship stops moving occasionally, sounding the siren. There is a constant sound of thunderbolts. This is the first time I am experiencing heavy rains in the midst of the deep ocean. From 12 noon we are passing through cyclonic weather. The ship is tilting too much. There was vomiting tendency and dizziness, and I felt uncomfortable with seasickness the whole day and night. At 3 p.m. the ship turned towards the Sri Lankan coast. On the 19th, when the ship arrived at Colombo, Sri Lanka, Prabhupada was able to get some relief in his seasickness. The captain took him ashore and he travelled around Colombo by car. Then the ship went on towards Cochin on the west coast of India. Janmashtami, the appearance of Lord Krishna, fell on the 20th of August that year. Prabhupada took the opportunity to speak to the crew about the philosophy of Lord Krishna, and he distributed prasadam he had cooked himself. August 21st was his 70th birthday, observed without ceremony at sea. The same day the ship arrived at Cochin, and Srila Prabhupada's trunks of Srimad Bhagavatam volumes, which had been shipped from Bombay, were loaded on board. By the 23rd the ship had put out to the Red Sea, where Srila Prabhupada encountered great difficulty. He wrote in his diary, "Rain, seasickness, dizziness, headache, no appetite, vomiting." The symptoms persisted, but it was more than seasickness. The pains in his chest made him think he would die at any moment. In 2 days he suffered 2 heart attacks. He tolerated the difficulty, meditating on the purpose of his mission. But after 2 days of such violent attacks, he thought that if another were to come, he would certainly not survive. In his uneasy sleep that night, he had a dream, a vision. Lord Krishna appeared. The Lord was in an open boat, along with his other incarnations. Krishna was rowing the boat, and the boat was pulling Srila Prabhupada's ship with a rope. Krishna was smiling at Srila Prabhupada and was pulling the ship all the way to America. Prabhupada felt assured of Lord Krishna's protection, and the violent attacks did not reoccur. Srila Prabhupada did not write about this occurrence in his diary, but simply drew a line through those troubled days, declaring that he had passed over a great crisis in the struggle between life and death. Years later, he related these events to his followers. The Jaladuta entered the Suez Canal on September the 1st and stopped in Port Said on the 2nd. Srila Prabhupada visited the city with the captain and said that he liked it. By the 6th, he had recovered a little from his illness and was eating regularly again for the first time in 2 weeks, having cooked his own khichdi and puris. He wrote in his diary that his strength renewed little by little. Thursday, September the 9th. 4 p.m. this afternoon, we have crossed over the Atlantic Ocean for 24 hours. The whole day was clear and almost smooth. I am taking food regularly and have some strength to struggle. There is a slight tacking of the ship and I am feeling a slight headache also, but I am struggling, and the nectarine of life is Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the source of all my vitality. Friday, September the 10th. Today the ship is plying very smoothly. I feel today better, but I am feeling separation from Sri Vrindavan and my lords Sri Govinda, Gopinath and Radha Damodar. The only solace is Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, in which I am tasting the nectarine of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. I have left Bharat Bhumi just to execute the order of Srila Bhaktisiddanta Saraswati in pursuance of Lord Chaitanya's order. I have no qualification, but have taken up the risk just to carry out the order of His divine grace. I fully depend on their mercy, so far away from Vrindavan. During the voyage, Srila Prabhupada sometimes stood on deck at the ship's rail, watching the ocean and the sky, thinking of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Vrindavan Dham, and the order of his spiritual master to go and preach in the West. Mrs. Pandya, the captain's wife, whom Srila Prabhupada considered to be an intelligent and learned lady, foretold Srila Prabhupada's future. If he were to pass beyond this crisis in his health, she said, it would indicate the goodwill of Lord Krishna, and he would be successful in his mission. The ocean voyage of 1965 was a calm one for the Jaladuta. The captain said he had never in his entire career had seen such a calm Atlantic crossing. Prabhupada replied that the calmness was Lord Krishna's mercy, and Mrs. Pandya asked Srila Prabhupada to come back with them so they might have another such crossing. Srila Prabhupada wrote in his diary, "If the Atlantic would have shown its usual face, perhaps I would have died, but Lord Krishna has taken charge of the ship." On September 13th, Prabhupada wrote in his diary, 32nd day of journey, cooked bhati khichdi. It appeared to be delicious, so I was able to take some food. Today I have disclosed my mind to my companion, Lord Sri Krishna.